I'm Owen Bigland. This is the Inside Edge video blog. Okay, back to my viewer mailbag here. Every week I get probably 10 or 15 questions from various people. They email me directly or will comment on my YouTube blog about various real estate matters and getting my opinion. And I'm more than happy every now and again to try and do a viewer mailbag here of questions that I get asked quite frequently. But the other thing I tell people as well is please go back into my archives of videos. I think I'm up to over 250 videos now since 2011 when I started this blog. I really think every question I get pretty much, I have done a blog, in some cases multiple blogs over the years on that topic. So that's why I put out a video blog here, to build a, kind of an archive. I call it a university education on real estate, buying and selling real estate, what to look for. I pretty much cover every topic from strata fees to leaky condos, to, assessments, to tax valuations. Everything is in there. So I know I have a lot of viewers that have told me that they've spent months and gone back and watched my entire archive, which is fantastic. You don't have to watch all of them. I don't know how many hours that would take, but please, you can binge watch some of these ones and just scroll through and you'll see I've covered every topic there is. But it's also good though, from my perspective, to do an update, because sometimes things change. Sometimes my perspective on things changes a little bit as well. So let's go through rapid fire here, some questions that I've had recently. So I had a lot of people asked me about buying older condos or older townhomes. Is there good value? And yes, there is tremendous value in condos, older condos that need a full renovation. As a matter of fact, some of the best buying opportunities are, as long as first off I should point out, as long as the strata is in good order, especially townhomes. One of my bigger clients is a trustee here in Vancouver, and I sell a number of properties every year via this trustee. And make a long story short, these people, the sellers, are either deceased or in some cases they've lost their mental capacities, and the trustee steps in and they hire me to sell and market the home. Sometimes, and it's all over the road of the type of homes I get, but a lot of times it's detached homes, townhomes, and condos. A lot of times the homes are in disrepair. They could be an old townhouse that's maybe 40 years old in a good strata, but the unit itself is 40 years old, original condition, and a mess. I happen to have two of those listed right now. Now, the stratas are in good order. You just need to put $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 into these units. They're not livable right now. Some of them are pretty bad. Now, these can be excellent buying opportunities, and the reason they are is because the demographic, the potential buyer pool for these type of units is very, very small. Because if you think about it, I'll give you an example of one I have right now in Richmond. 43-year-old townhouse, 1,400 square feet, 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath. These units have sold, partially renovated units have sold in the mid to high 600s. I currently have one listed, let's call it at $550, but the unit is not livable. It's original, it's a mess inside, everything needs to be torn out. The strata itself, though, I've sold in this complex many times before. It's a good complex. Windows have been upgraded, roofs are relatively new, fencing has been replaced. And the unit itself of these older townhouses are pretty basic. It's baseboard electric heat, you got your own hot water tank, and again, the windows and doors have all been replaced and the roof is pretty much new. So what it needs, though, is a complete reno. The bathrooms, the kitchen, the toilets, everything needs to go. Flooring, fixtures. You could probably, a basic reno on something like this would probably be about $60,000. But you could easily go up to $80,000, $90,000, $100,000, depending on the finishings you wanted to put in. Now, these can be excellent buying opportunities because the typical buyer for this is a young family, maybe moving up from a 1-bedroom condo or a 2-bedroom condo into this. But they're buying this, they don't have, the buyer for this needs to not only qualify for the mortgage, $550,000, let's say, and the purchase price, but they need a spare $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 cash on the sidelines, plus about 3 months to reno it before they can move in. So there's not a lot of buyers out there. There's some, but it's a very small pool of potential buyers that not only can qualify for the home to purchase it, but have the spare $60,000 or $70,000. So is good potential there. But again, you have to get a realtor that knows what you're looking at. You need to get into a strata, that's in good order. Good buying opportunity though. The other one I get people ask me on the same kind of topic here. They'll send me listings in downtown Vancouver, and I'm familiar with these stratas, that are getting ready to have some major remediation work done. There are levies that are on the docket. So for things like elevator upgrades, which can be several $1 million, roofs, window replacements, which can be huge. Those could be $20,000 or $25,000 per owner. Piping, boilers, that kind of thing. So I get often people will send me listings and will ask, is this a good value? And again, you have to do your due diligence and your homework on this. Some of these ones that these guys have sent me are, I think, a good value because the current prices in these buildings have been going down steadily. And oftentimes, not only is the cost of all those levies already baked into the price, but then some. Because it's the same scenario. It's a very small demographic of potential buyers for these. They have to be able to buy the unit, let's say at $1.1 million, and then you better have a slush fund for these upcoming levies and remediation work. And that could be $50,000, $60,000, $80,000, $100,000, some of the numbers that are getting thrown around in the strata docs. So again, the bank will lend money on these units, but you need that extra cash, and in some cases too, the lenders are a little wary on these. I've had many listings over the years where if remediation work is due, sometimes these banks won't lend on these particular stratas. But you start to get the prices coming down, the listings stay on the market, it spooks a lot of buyers. But again, it can be a good buying opportunity, but you really have to do your homework. Is this strata falling apart? Are they going to get these levies approved? Because that can be another thing to worry about, is they just keep bandying about these levies and they get overturned. And it goes on for years like that, where you get the strata documents and they got all this work that needs to be done, but they never approve any of it. And it can start a downward spiral. So you have to be careful. But in certain circumstances, the cost of all these levies and then some are already built into the sale price. But again, you got to be able to purchase the unit and then have a slush fund. And so few buyers have a slush fund of $100,000 or more, or $80,000 to reno it. So if that's you and you've got that, you can pick up some pretty good value if you do your homework on it. Another question. Owen, how do you avoid leaky condos? Well, that one's easy. Again, you do your due diligence. You hire a real estate pro, someone who's got a lot of experience, knows the stratas. If you're looking to buy downtown, he knows or she knows a lot of the inner workings of the stratas. They've sold or listed in there in the past. Even if you don't, I don't know every strata, if you don't, you read the depreciation report, you read through the 2 years worth of minutes, the AGMs, and you get a home inspection. So you have to do your due diligence. It's quite easy to avoid buying a leaky condo. Anyone that buys a condo and 2 years later gets hit with a $50,000 rain screen job, there's no excuse for that in my opinion. Obviously, you and your realtor did not do your due diligence. You didn't read the documents, because leaky condos don't happen overnight. You're going to see a history of that in the strata documents. You're going to see that being targeted in the depreciation report or in the engineer's report. So the simple reason is do your due diligence on that. Or if you're still unsure, then stay away from older condos. And I've got many buyers that just, for whatever reason, unlike what I just talked about where there can be good buying opportunities, and there can be in older stratas, some people just don't want to go there, and I can totally understand that. They only want to buy buildings or in units that are concrete less than 8 years old or less than 10 years old. So you should be pretty safe there. But if you're unsure, there's no excuse for buying a leaky condo. You do your due diligence. You read the strata documents, read the depreciation report, engineer's report, and get a home inspection done. Final question. I had people ask me, they always do, and I've done lots of blogs on Land Assemblies. People will give me specifics. They own a house in East Vancouver, and What can I expect to receive as a sale price if I'm involved in a land assembly? Well, it's all over the road. First off, the thing you want to keep focused on is what is your FSR? That's the magic number, the floor space ratio. That's what the city will designate to your parcel of land, what a developer can build. If you're zoned for stacked townhomes, which I just had a house I just sold in East Vancouver, the FSR on that was 1.2. Stacked townhomes. Now, that's generally not going to move the needle much as far as a land assembly goes. Sure, you're going to increase the density, but the real magic happens on a land assembly when you can get you and all your neighbors, preferably an entire block, and you're getting a 2.3 or 2.4 FSR. Anything over 2, now you're starting to cook, because a 2.3 FSR is generally a 3-story condo building. The higher the FSR, the more money you're going to get. Generally, I've got clients right now in Grandview that are part of the Grandview development plan. They're at about a 2.2 FSR, 3-story condo, wood frame condo with commercial down below on ground. They're kind of hovering, they're in land assemblies right now, about double their assessed value. So if the assessed value is at 1.5, they're listed right now at about 3.2. Might net 3. But I've blogged about this before. The window opens and closes on land assemblies. Right now, the window is closed. If you're thinking about putting your home on a land assembly with you and your neighbors, I would say just wait. The timing isn't right now. It's in the developer's favor. Developers are skittish right now with the current government, with the tax situation. So I would wait. It goes in cycles. It's only a matter of time before the pendulum will swing back into the seller's favor. And that's what you want. You want it to where you're listing your land assembly and developers are coming cap in hand and laying suitcases full of cash at your feet. That's when you want to be selling those. And that right now isn't the situation. Now, that might turn 6 months from now, or it might turn 2 years from now. I can guarantee to you that it will swing back in your favor and they're coming cap in hand. But right now it's not happening. But the other thing I'll recommend to you on land assemblies, you got to stick together. Sometimes you'll get a holdout or two. If you can, you want to have 4, 5, 6 homes. You need to have a decent size assembly. That definitely makes it a lot more desirable for a lot more developers other than the small ones. You can get into some mid-tier developers. The other thing I would strongly urge you to is do not use a residential realtor for the sale. I get many people that will ask me about listing a land assembly. I'm flattered you would want to use me, but I am a residential realtor. I have been involved in a few small assemblies where we're doing compact lots. In other words, we're converting 2 detached homes into 4 smaller lots. That's one thing. But if you're trying to get into a 5 or 6 home land assembly where it's zoned for a 2.2 FSR condos, you want to hire a commercial realtor for that. And I'm more than happy to refer you to some good ones. Commercial realtor is what you want to use. They've got the Rolodex, they've got the marketing experience, they've got the contacts of the developers that are going to be interested in your assembly. But again, window opens and closes. I would not be listing a land assembly right now. It could be 6 months and this market might turn back in your favor. It could be 2 years. Be patient. Be patient. You'll get the payday on it, guaranteed. I'm Owen Bigland. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.